जुदाई चार दिना दा
Hi everyone out there, I am Spanong Babo, your sports guru. Catch me live every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. only on Nirvana Wild FM. Your beat, your music. Danko.
The views, opinions or comments expressed on this program does not reflect the views, opinions or comments of the radio station or its management.
You are tuning into Sports Geek with Spanelo Ngobo, only on Nirvana Wild FM. Your beat, your music. Hello.
Glory, glory, glory United. Oh, as the Reds march on, that's definitely going to be the order of the day this afternoon. But the Blue Moon of Manchester City, they also do have a right of reply. Manchester City, the Blue Moon of Manchester City. Let's hear what they have to say to that. Glory, glory United. stage is set. Glory United. Oh, halala. That is the Blue Moon of Manchester City. That is going to be the order of the day this afternoon at Wembley Stadium. Oh, that's when Manchester United will be taking on their across-town traditional rivals, Manchester City. The event is FA Cup final for the first time ever in the history of FA Cup final, where we get to witness the Manchester derby. That is the Blue Moon of Manchester City. Like I previously said, it is the first time ever in the history of FA Cup final that we get to witness the Manchester derby. It doesn't get any bigger and better than this. This is definitely an English Premier League dream final. We are lucky. What a great time to be alive to witness the history in the making. Manchester United, they've already won one trophy this season. Should they go on and win this afternoon, they will be making it a double. And guess what? They are across-town rivals, Manchester City. They are also sitting almost in the same situation. Should they win this afternoon, they will be making it a double. Furthermore, Manchester City, they stand a good chance of damaging or denting Manchester United record of doing the treble, of which they did way back in 1999, where they won the league, FA Cup, and they had Champions League as the bonus. We'll recall that should Manchester City win this afternoon, it will be 2 down and 1 to go. We'll recall that they will be taking on the Italian giants in the Europa Champions League that will be taking place at in Turkey. Istanbul is the city. So Manchester United, they've got 2 assignments to ensure that they go on and win this afternoon and make themselves proud and win and make it a double. And then second assignment that they have is to ensure that they beat Manchester City and ensure that their record remains undented, and they remain the only team in England to have won the treble. Because should they allow Manchester City to go all the way and beat them this afternoon, and they might go on and beat Inter Milan next week in the Champions League, Manchester City might see themselves joining or emulating what Manchester United did way back in '99. So it is everything happening this evening. So much pride is at stake. So much record is at stake. So much rivalry is at stake. So it is all to do this afternoon. Manchester United versus Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Surely this is the great time to be around, the great time to be alive, to see the history in the making. Like I said, it is the first time ever that we have the FA Cup final where the Manchester derby also automatically becomes part of the equation. Glory United as the Reds march on. Talking of records intact, talking of history to be protected, talking of legend, new records to be made this afternoon. Surely, let's have a look at what is at stake. That record that we are talking about, that Manchester United, they have to ensure that they protect it. They have to ensure, they have to stop Manchester City from joining them, emulating what they did way back in 1989. Just listen to this clip. It looks like we're not winning. Let's give it a try one more time. There seems to be some problem. I don't know what could be.
One man who's been part of the tapestry of the history of this club has won 5 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 10 Charity Community Shields, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup, 1 European Super Cup, 2 Champions League titles, Intercontinental Cup, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, and 13 Premier League titles. The impossible dream made possible by the greatest British manager ever, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Oh yes, Sir Alex Ferguson did that in style way back in 1999. That's when he won that treble with the Reds. So surely Manchester United, they will want to ensure that that record remains intact and do not give Manchester City any chance of emulating exactly that. It is the 3rd of June 2023. Wow, we are definitely halfway through the year. The big question is, what have you done with your life? Remember, way back in January when you made those New Year's resolutions, how far are you with those New Year's resolutions? Are they just a New Year's resolution sitting in the corner, gathering dust, and you're not doing anything about them? Or you have at least achieved 50% of those New Year's resolutions that you made way back in January 2023. Like I said, we are definitely halfway through the year. At least, you should also be sitting at 50% with those resolutions that you took way back in January. So the big and uncomfortable question that you should be asking yourself, what have you done with your life to date since we are halfway through the year? Netball, the World Cup trophy is officially in the country. We'll recall that it landed last week Thursday in Durban, King Shaka International Airport, and KZN, they came out in numbers and embraced the Netball World Cup trophy. And Gauteng were next on the queue, and this week it's been doing the rounds around Gauteng, that is the Netball World Cup trophy. And the Gautengers, they just did not disappoint. They came out in numbers. I'm talking about your Mogale City, your Sebokeng, your Pretoria, Johannesburg, CBD, Soweto. People have been coming out in numbers embracing the Netball World Cup. It is, yeah, just for your benefit, just a reminder, the Netball World Cup will definitely get underway come next month, the 28th of July till the 6th of August, down in Cape Town International Conventional Center. It is so exciting indeed to see South Africans coming out in numbers, being aware of what is going to be taking place come next month in as far as the Netball World Cup is concerned. Yes, there were some big concerns that Netball South Africa were not doing enough to market the game, to make the awareness in the country. But if the last 2 weeks are anything to go by, yes, it is guaranteed that come next month, South Africa is ready to host the world. South Africa is ready to give exceptional Netball World Cup. That's why we will get to see 16 best netball teams in the world contesting for that netball trophy down in Cape Town. Eka Palodumo. Still in netball, this week we saw a Telkom Netball League get underway. Wow, the excitement, the ambience, everything, the atmosphere is so electrifying. It is so great to see people embracing netball to this degree. Then we move to tennis. Roland Garros started in earnest on Sunday. Wow, and so far there haven't been too much surprises or upsets, especially on the male side. On the women's side, yes, big guns have fallen in as far as women players are concerned. But in the male side, Alcaraz is still there. Novak Djokovic is still there. Tsitsipas is still there. So no surprises as yet in as far as Roland Garros is concerned, which is taking place out in France. The city is Paris. Still with the French Open, that is Roland Garros. There's been a lot of drama in the court and outside the court. Novak Djokovic has been on the wrong side in as far as the fans are concerned. They booed him, so as the Belarusian star Aryna Sabalenka. She's also been booed by the fans that for following her refusal to shake the hand of the Ukrainian star Marta Kasuf. That was on Wednesday. The French Open fans, they booed Belarusian tennis star, that is Aryna Sabalenka. So it was so bad. It was not surprising that yesterday when Sabalenka refused to do a press conference following how the things got heated up during the week. That was on Wednesday. So Novak Djokovic and the Belarusian tennis star Aryna Sabalenka are so much in hot water in as far as the fans are concerned. They are so on their case. Surely you're asking yourself, what is the root cause for all that bitterness between the fans and Djokovic and Belarusian star? It is all about the Ukraine-Russia war. That is what it is all about. We'll recall that in that Ukraine-Russia war, Belarus is in cahoots with Russia. That's what is the root cause of this whole fight or feud between the Belarusian star Aryna Sabalenka and Novak Djokovic is also in support. He's refusing to come forward and condemn that Ukraine-Russia war, of which the media has gone and concluded that simply means both these tennis players are in support of that Russia-Ukraine war. And then in local rugby, there is a Currie Cup of things are shaping up. Semi-final slots are at stake, and then we've only got 2 games left before the semi-finals get underway. So everyone is trying to get himself in that top 4 in as far as Currie Cup is concerned. The Durban franchise, Chelsea Sharks, are sitting comfortable at the top, and with the boys from the City of Roses, that is Cheetahs, only needing 1 point to ensure that they are safe in as far as that semi-final slots are concerned. The defending champions, Elinke Pumas, they seem to be little bit and in trouble. So as last year's finalists, that is the Windhoek draft Griquas. Blue Bulls, they did themselves some smaller justice last night when they downed Griquas all the way from Velcom, when they crushed them 64-33, and they saw themselves jumping within that top 4 bracket. A very good morning and a warm welcome to you wherever you are within South African borders and beyond. We've got you covered. Don't you worry about a thing. All you have to do is to sit back, relax, and allow us to entertain you. You are tuning in to Sports Geek with Swanel Ngobo, only on Nirvana World FM. Your beat, your music. TikTok and Facebook, we are there as Nirvana World FM. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, I'm also there as Swanel Ngobo. We'll kickstart today's show by looking at Telkom Netball League. Like I said, let's got underway on Tuesday this week. After that, we'll look at tennis. That is Roland Garros. That's currently underway in France. That is a French Open. Currie Cup, we'll definitely look at that. Like I said, the things are heating up because the semi-final slots are at stake. It is a 4 teams race. Only 4 teams will definitely proceed to the knockout stages. So let's hope the defending champions, Elinke Pumas, they will get a chance to defend their trophy and see themselves qualify, at least make it to the top 4 slot. And then at 12 o'clock, we'll have our usual discussion with our sports analyst, Modiba Pitt, and hear what he has to say. We'll look at the DSTV Premiership Awards that took place this week, and then the Nedbank Cup that played last weekend, where Orlando Pirates took on Sekhukhune United. We'll also revisit the FA Cup final. It is all about the Reds, glory, Man United, and it is also about the Blue Moon of Manchester City. If the weather means anything to you, the mercury is sitting at 17 degrees Celsius, and it is sunny in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, eGoli, kwandonga ziyaduma, kwamntanami wendele phina. Talking of the weather, yes, no. On Thursday, my, it was so chilly, it was so cold. Surely Thursday was one of the coldest week that we have experienced so far in this winter. But today it is a little bit sunny, 17 degrees Celsius. That's where the mercury is sitting at. Surely we can live with that. It looks like the technology seems to be failing us yet again. Let's give it a try one more time. Let's quickly go for a breather. When we return, we'll be talking Telkom Netball League.
Ever heard a baby bellow at the top of its lungs in a public place, far from your best music track, right? For a more beautiful note, contact Nirvana Sounds for your studio and live recordings. We engineer sound to perfection according to your specifications. We ensure crisp and clear audio-video conversions and delight your function with sound, stage and lights for hire. Our quotes are pleasurable to the ear. Contact us now on 083-945-7664. Nirvana Sounds, powered by Gospel World FM.
Welcome. This is your favorite station. Stay tuned.
Themba lami ngibeka kuwe, 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 themba Thank you so much to Tawila featuring Namvula. They gave us a Themba Lami. Wow, this song, it's one of those songs where two genres are fused together. That is Amapiano and gospel. We recall that Tawila is an Amapiano artist and Namvula Msane is a gospel artist. Not just a gospel artist, she is also a pastor. That is Pastor Namvula Msane. Oh, and Tawila, they gave us Themba Lami. Talking of Namvula Msane, I saw on social media that soon she will be releasing her EP. Let's hope she will do not surprise as we are waiting and to hear what does she have in store for us. That is Tawila featuring Namvula Msane. They gave us Themba Lami. Diving straight to Telkom netball, that is currently underway. Last night, Gauteng Jaguars, they took on Eastern Cape Aloos. That's where Jaguars walked away victors by 53-30, beating the Eastern Cape Aloos. Before that, KZN Kingdom Queens, they beat Limpopo Lilies by the closest of margin, that is 42-40. And that was bad enough in as far as the Limpopo Lilies are concerned, because we'll recall that they've played 4 games so far. Unfortunately, they've lost all their 4 games so far. KZN, that was their 4th game last night, that they managed to record their first win when they took on the Limpopo Lilies. Still in that game of KZN Queens and Limpopo Lilies, Dikeleti Mpanza was voted player of that match. And then in Division 2, Western Cape Tornadoes dumped the Rockies all the way from the Free State, that is Sonneblom, by a whopping 68-33. Let's have a look at the Telkom netball top goal scorers in both Divisions 1 and 2. Starting with Division 1, Sian Moore of Southern Stings has scored 1 119 goals. And then followed by Tinisa van Dijk of the Golden Fireballs. She has got 97 goals. Caitlin Duplessis has got 82 goals. Robin Strucker of Crainhams has scored 70 goals. And then at number 5, we've got Nontsikelelo Mazibuko of Gauteng Jaguars. She has got 68 goals. Moving to Division 2, we find Nineli Jordan of Diamonds. She has got 103 goals. Followed on the second place by Leandra Skuman of Tornadoes. She has got 91 goals. At number 3, we've got Muhluri Hlachwayo of Power Pass. She has got 88 goals. At number 4, Asa Konjeza of Comets. She has got 78 goals. Last but not least, at number 5 on Division 2, we've got Marichal Fisach of Power Babs. She has got 77 goals. That's how things are hitting up in as far as Telkom Netball League is concerned. But before we go, let's look at the games that will be taking place this afternoon. To be exact, in less than a few minutes time, 20 minutes time from now, the first game will get underway this afternoon in as far as Telkom Netball League is concerned. Kingdom Stars will take on the Flames, while Crainhams will lock horns with Fireballs. That game is at 10-2. Then at 10-3, Bauer Babs will take on Comets. And then the last one for this afternoon, Gauteng Jaguars will take on Southern Stings. Then tomorrow morning, the games get underway so early in the morning, 25-8. Really? Who plays netball so early in the morning? What time will this guy, will these girls have a breakfast? The first game gets underway at 25-8. That's when Tornadoes will take on Diamonds. And then the last one for the weekend at 10-10, we'll see Bauer Babs take on Limpopo Lilies. Let's hope Limpopo Lilies, on that fifth outing, they will definitely manage to pull their first win come tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we will give Limpopo Lilies some, what do they call it in Idols? Wooden spoon.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You are tuning into Sports Geek with Sponelo Ngobo, only on Nirvana World FM. Your beat, your music. Hala.
You just gotta know. You know this life can crush your goals. You gotta know you're not alone. It's in your mind. You tell your soul. Fly free and live life. With my head held high, I'll walk alone. If it breaks my body, it breaks my bone. Why live to die when you can live to sorrow? Though some of them will love you and some of them won't. But high and low, we all were. We're marginal, we're striving on. So come on, everybody, pump it on, 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 pump it on. I'm left to know that life is just one show. As the clouds flow, pumping high, phenomenal. Be original, don't make it dismal. It's just one show, one shot, one time, one blow. You just gotta know. You know this life can crush your goals. You gotta know you're not alone. It's in your mind. You tell your soul. Fly free and live life. With my head held high, I'll walk alone. If it breaks my body, it breaks my bone. Why live to die when you can live to sorrow? Though some of them will love you and some of them won't. But high and low, we all were. We're marginal, we're striving on. So come on, everybody, pump it on, 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 pump Hypocrisy, tearing down our families, calling me policy, hide behind democracy. Authorities stress to please, stopping all necessities, spreading death and disease, sent by God to forget. Cause if God is what I'm a bitch, and if he's A, I'm the general praise, and if he's love, 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 I'm the little beat, pump it in your sleep, pump it in your sleep, you know this life can't crush your goals, you gotta know you're not alone, it's in your mind, you jail your soul, fly free and live life, with my head held high, I'll walk alone, if it breaks my body, it breaks my bone, well, I live to die when you can live to sorrow, though some of them will love you and some of them won't, but high and low, we all one, we're marching on, we're striving on, so come on everybody, pump it on, pump it on, pump it on, pump it on.
Oh, pump it on. That is a Toya Delays. Pump it on. And before that, we got Matei. She gave us Ameyash. Oh, if this song doesn't crash TikTok, then nothing will. Why do I say that? Because, wow, this song, Matei Ameyash, it is doing all the waves. Getting everyone dancing to it. The Amayashi dance challenge is doing the wonders in as far as TikTok is concerned. You are still tuning in to Sports Geek with Sibonelo Ngcobo, only on Nirvana World FM. Your beat, your music. You can always get in touch with us on our studio WhatsApp line number, which is 07 333 That studio WhatsApp line number again is 07 333 Excuse Excuse me for that. Nature, it's calling. I just unfortunately did not have control of over that. Time now it is 12 minutes before 12 o'clock. Diving straight to rugby. Then there is Currie Cup. Rugby, that is where South African rugby legends are born. Like I previously said, semi-finals slots are definitely heating up. We saw last night Western Province, they dented their chances of making it to the semi-finals when they lost to last year's finalists, that is Windhoek Draft Griquas. Western Province, they went down by 29 to 38 against last year's finalist. The Sharks are sitting comfortably at the summit of the log standings, followed by the boys from the City of Roses, that is Cheetahs, who need just 1 point to cement their position in as far as knockout stages are concerned. Third place and defending champions, Elink Pumas, they will definitely be fighting for their dear lives when they take on the second place Cheetahs this afternoon. That game gets underway at 5 o'clock in Mpumalanga Mbombela Stadium to be exact. And then it will be followed by the last game for the weekend. That's where Chelsea Sharks will entertain the Art of Swords ADTF Fidelity Lions. Home do not stand any chance to make it to the top four. The venue for that game is Hollywood Bet Kings Park Stadium. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. And then come next weekend, that's when we'll get to see the last round of the Currie Cup. That's when the top four will be confirmed. That's when next week we will definitely know exactly who has made it in as far as knockout stages are concerned. We saw what Vodacom Blue Bulls did last night. They just sneaked in. They leapfrogged last year's finalist, that is the Windhoek Draft Griquas, by just slenderest of league or lead, just by 1 point, of which they will Griquas, they will be playing against the Free State Cheetahs this evening. Should Griquas get a point in that clash this afternoon against the Cheetahs, that will automatically spell trouble for the boys from the Jacaranda City, that is Vodacom Blue Bulls. They will see themselves going back to the 5th position, which is not a comfortable place at all, considering that for one to get to the semis, it has to be in the top 4. So Vodacom Blue Bulls, they will definitely having a huge interest in that Griquas Cheetahs game that gets underway at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Like I said, next week all the permutations will definitely come to an end. We'll get to know who makes it to the semi-finals. We'll get to see, will the Elling Pumas get a chance to defend their trophy. Chelsea Sharks, who are using the very, very inexperienced players, they have done pretty well. They've resisted the temptation of using the Vodacom URC players. They've gone on and won. Listen to this. They've won 6 games on the trot with the unknown players. So surely one has to acknowledge and appreciate the good work that has been done by the Chelsea Sharks. Because if one were to look on the other side, we'll see that Western Province last night, the game that they lost last night against the Griquas, they used some of their Vodacom United Rugby Championship players, but they still went on and lost at that game. Who can judge them? Surely they're still traumatized from what happened last week, Saturday, at DHL Stormers, when DHL Stormers went down in that Vodacom United Rugby Championship final against the Irish Royal team. That is a monster. Oh, that was very painful indeed. They went down by 19 to 14, and no one expected the home side DHL Stormers to lose that game. Everyone thought it was a done deal. Everyone was expecting DHL Stormers to successfully defend their trophy, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Munster, they played for the whole 80 minutes, of which DHL Stormers, unfortunately, they switched off for some a couple of minutes, especially towards the end. That's when the Irish Giants capitalized on that, and they brought DHL Stadium to such a silence. There was painful indeed the way DHL Stormers threw away that game. Let's go for a breather. When we return, we'll just have a quick look at Formula One, and we'll also touch base in as far as Roland Garros is concerned.
Looking to upgrade or repair your desktop or laptop? With over a decade's experience, TV Master specializes in software installations, data recovery, restores, PC rebuilds, and conversions from VHS to USB or DVD. For no obligation quote, contact Pre on 011 855 6738 or 072 7706 796. TV Master, the name you can trust.
The best music variety live.
Thank you so much to Tonic the Tune featuring Pops Mavela and Dark Jade. They gave us a booyah. Oh, surely this song, you are hearing it for the first time on any radio station. Why do I say that and how do I know that? Because this song was only released last night. Surely not all the radio stations have got a chance to play this song because it was released actually midnight. Yeah, it was released midnight. So surely it is the first time that you get to hear this song. There is a Tonic the Tune featuring Pops Mavela and Dark Jade. They gave us Booyah Timbalam. Diving straight to tennis, there is the French Open. We look at the women's side. The Polish tennis star, that is Iga Swiatek, is on the verge of joining the elite league. The likes of Serena Williams and Monica Seles, who had won Roland Garros 3 times. Should Iga Swiatek go on and defend her title, which he won last year, she will definitely see herself joining that elite league of those two big tennis legends. And then on the other side, Novak Djokovic is on track in as far as setting the new record in as far as the record of Grand Slam winnings are concerned. Because we'll remember that currently Novak Djokovic is sitting at a tie with Rafael Nadal of having won 22 Grand Slams. And with Rafael Nadal not available to participate in this year's French Open, so Novak Djokovic yesterday we saw him progressing to the last 16. So surely it's still a work in progress, and he's still on course on that record in as far as that record is concerned of making it 23 Grand Slam win. So he will be playing tomorrow again. So we'll be concentrating and see whether Novak Djokovic goes all the way and win this year's French Open, of which he definitely stands a very good chance. Like I said, with Rafael Nadal not there, Roger Federer not there. Yes, Tsitsipas is still there. Oh, did I mention the new kid on the block, Alcaraz? My, that boy is on fire. I can't wait. Everyone is hoping that we get to see Novak Djokovic taking on Alcaraz in this year's Roland Garros. I can tell you now that sparks will definitely fly should those two lock horns in this year's Roland Garros, because that's definitely going to be a dream final for everyone. Will definitely love to see the new kid on the block. That is Alcaraz, who is tipped to be taking over from the king of clay, that is Rafael Nadal. But Alcaraz has come out and said he's not taking over from anyone. He is unique. He is Alcaraz. He is making his own history. But surely that is just a PR stunt. This is just a youngster. He's just 20 years of age and he's making wonders. He's ranked second right now. So surely that ding-dong battle between Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic is definitely one to watch. So we'll be watching the space and see Ilka Swiatek. Will she go on and join the elite league? Will Novak Djokovic set a new record of a Grand Slam wins and make it 23 Grand Slam wins? Diving straight to Formula One with the Monaco game done and dusted, where it was actually it became a one-man show. It became a Max Verstappen show. And this weekend we've got Spanish Grand Prix. It got underway last night with the practice. Max Verstappen, by the look of things, if last night's practice is anything to go by, it looks like we might get to see another Max Verstappen show this weekend in as far as the Spanish Grand Prix is concerned. But the big question is with the Spanish Grand Prix, that's where Fernando Alonso coming into the equation. We'll recall that last week in Monaco, Fernando Alonso, he came second. The local fans, Barcelona fans, the Spanish fans, they will be hoping that Alonso will step up and spring a surprise and spoil the party for Max Verstappen and do it for his local fans, because remember that Fernando Alonso comes or hails from that part of the world in Spain, Barcelona to be exact, Catalonia. Surely it will be a big deal should he go on and win it in front of his home fans. Still on Spanish Grand Prix, looking at the schedule this afternoon, to be exact, in the next 15 minutes, practice 3 will get underway, and then at 3 this afternoon, that's when the qualifying will get underway, and then tomorrow at 1:30, that's when the main race is. Will Max Verstappen dominate once again? Will the local boy Fernando Alonso step up to the plate and make the local fans happy? Only time will tell. Let's quickly go for a breather. Hopefully when we return, we'll be in a telephonic discussion with our sports analyst Modiba Peta and hear what he has to say in as far as DStv Premiership, Nedbank Cup. We'll also revisit FA Cup final, as well as the Grand Prix. Will all that and more. Just stick around. We will be back in no time.
Wayikutwa taba injalo lento losomnetso ala
This is your favorite station. Stay tuned.
Isibonile
Listening just got better.
Thank you very much to that triple play. We started with Joel Corey and Tom Greenan. They gave us Lion Heart. You may call it Fearless if you want to. They were then followed by the Twins, the Revolution. They gave us the anthem, and the song that we've just heard now is Liquid Deep. They gave us still. That takes us to 22 minutes after 12 o'clock, and you are still tuning in to Sports Geek with Sibonelo Ngcobo, only on Nirvana World FM. Your beat, your music. You can always get in touch with us on our studio WhatsApp line number, which is 0733316934. Our studio WhatsApp line number again is 0733316934. TikTok and Facebook, we are there as Nirvana World FM. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, I'm also there as Sibonelo Ngcobo. You can always get in touch and converse with me 7 days a week. Talking of Facebook, you can always type the name of this show, which is Sports Geek with Sibonelo Ngcobo, and that will take you straight to the page of this show.
Well, it was extremely tough for various reasons. First, 3 hours for 2 sets. I don't remember when I played last time, 3 hours, 2 sets, maybe against Nadal in one of our matches, but I mean, this was looking like, if I lost one of the first 2 sets, it was looking like it's going to go 4 or 5 hours. It was just a kind of a day and conditions that were, I think, very challenging for both players physically. Lots of exchanges. Serve was really not an advantage for either of us. Really, I mean, it was cat and mouse every single point, you know, trying to outsmart your opponent. We were doing a lot of running, not just left, right, but forward, backward. He was, especially when he was playing from that end where he was playing against the wind, he was drop shotting a lot. So, you know, he was making me work for every point. And yeah, I have to be, in the end of the day, when I draw a line, very content to win this match in 3 sets. Maybe it was, I would say, more desirable and probably more fair, I guess, if you see the kind of a match it was today, that this match went at least in 4 sets, you know, because he was serving for it in the first. He had his chances also in the second. I had my chances. We both had chances, you know. We both had kind of up and down. You know, at one point I lost completely my second serve. Like 3 double faults in one game. Handed out the break when I was a break up. You know, weird things happening, to be honest, today. But yeah, that's Grand Slam tennis.
That is Grand Slam tennis. Surely you're asking yourself, whose voice was that? That is none other than the record Grand Slam holder, Novak Djokovic. That's what he said last night after his win, after he qualified for the last 16. Novak Djokovic of the Serbian tennis star. Following come tomorrow when that last 16 games get underway, and hoping he will go all the way to the final and see himself extend his record straight up to 23 Grand Slam record winner of all time. We seem to be struggling with our sports analyst Modiba Peter. If you look at the schedule, by this time we're supposed to be in conversation with him, but by the look of things, it looks like technology is definitely failing us. Some of the things that we're going to discuss with Modiba Peter surely was the going to be the Nedbank Cup, where we saw Orlando Pirates ezimnyama ngenkani zikaMakhepula ezakhepula umhlaba ngamasipala. They took on Sekhukhune United babina nogo adebahlabe. That is the Nedbank final that took place last week Saturday at the capital city, Jacaranda City, that is in Pretoria. Loftus Versfeld is the venue. That's when the Buccaneers, they went on all the way and beat the boys from Limpopo by 2 goals to 1, and in so doing, Orlando Pirates, they saw themselves winning a cup, a double this season with their coach Jose Rivero. We'll recall that Jose Rivero, this is his first season in South African football with the mighty Buccaneers, but he did not make any excuses and say he's still familiarizing himself with South African football. He just hit the ground running. One first season, 2 cup double. Job well done indeed by the Orlando Pirates mentor, that is Jose Rivero. I'm sure the pain goes elsewhere. The chest pains. I'm not going to mention any names where do those chest pains going to, especially if one brings that magic word, building. We are building. Orlando Pirates and Jose Rivero, they don't speak that language of building. They get down to business and win trophies. First season, Abananako. 2 trophies are in the bag. 2 trophies are in Mayfair. Well done. Congratulations are in order indeed for Orlando Pirates, the mighty Buccaneers, for that job. Well done last weekend. On the other side, I must say that Sekhukhune United Babinanoko, they definitely did a sterling job. They took the game to Orlando Pirates. They did not sit back and defend. They did not give Orlando Pirates any respect. It's just that Orlando Pirates, tactically and otherwise, and the quality of players that Orlando Pirates had on the day, they seem to be too good for the outfit from Goal Limpopo. But still on that game, that a 2-1 game, there is a big controversy around the Orlando Pirates win. I just concentrated on the positive side. I deliberately ignored that the big discussion, controversy that went down last week. The big discussion is the penalty that was awarded to Orlando Pirates with Thembi Nkosi-Lorch orchestrating that penalty. There's a big talking point. Was it a fair penalty? Did Thembi Nkosi-Lorch show any level of a good sportsmanship? Those are some of the big talking points. But we've seen all the big referees in as far as South African football is concerned. They came out and said the referee on the day made a right decision. So who am I to question that? Yes, it looks very, very controversial. It looks very, very suspicious, especially if you are not an Orlando Pirates faithful. Even if you are neutral, it leaves a lot of questions. But we've seen most of the veteran match officials, I'm talking about your Ace Ngobo, your Victor Hlungwane, they came out and said the referee on the day took the right decision. So we might as well, all of us, accept that the referee on the day took the right decision. Orlando Pirates, they are the winners, and move on with our lives. And then the next on the DSTV Premiership calendar, we saw the DSTV Premiership Awards. Another big talking point, another controversy in as far as those awards are concerned. We saw most of the people were expecting Munapule Saleng to walk away with the player of the season, but it wasn't to be. The player of the season came all the way from the PSL DSTV Premiership champions, Mamelodi Sundowns anchor midfielder, that is Tebogo Mokoena. Most people were saying, how on earth can Tebogo Mokoena walk away and with that accolade? They started asking how many assists, how many goals did he score, and they were comparing him with Munapule Saleng, who had who has got a lot of goals, obviously, who's got a lot of assists as compared to Tebogo Mokoena. But the big question is, they play completely different roles. Tebogo Mokoena plays anchor. Sure, you cannot expect Tebogo Mokoena to create and score as much goals as Munapule Saleng, who plays as a striker, who plays as a winger, who also plays behind the strikers. Because if we were to look at that, surely that was going to mean that defenders, they are not eligible to win the player of the season awards. Goalkeepers, that was going to mean goalkeepers are not eligible to win the player of the season award. You'll remember that some years back we saw the goalkeeper from Kaizer Chiefs, that is Itumeleng Khune. He once won the player of the season award. Dave Mashamaide, also from Kaizer Chiefs, who was a defender, he won that award. So surely, if one were to make a comment, I think it is best to compare apples with apples. And still on that topic, I think it is best that we accept that Tebogo Mokoena is our player of the season in as far as South African football is concerned, and move on. And if we were to compare, it is best that we compare apples with apples. Let's quickly go for a breather. Just maybe I will try again to get hold of Modiba Peter and see if there is any joy in as far as our sports analyst is concerned.
The best music variety live.
It looks like we have got our sports analyst, Modiba Peter. Let's give it a try and see if he is on the line. Modiba, you there?
I'm here, Spanel. It's a very afternoon to you and also to the team behind the scenes and the listeners as well. And thanks for having me on this wonderful Saturday failure of networks.
Oh my! This technology. Oh, it disappointed us this afternoon. But without any further ado, let's cut down to the chase because definitely time is not on our side. Nedbank Cup Giona Gimakoya final got underway last week in the capital city, Jacaranda City. That's where we saw Orlando Pirates and Nyamangani Kamakepula. As a Kepula Umhlaba Maspala, they took on Skukuna United Babina Noko. Talk to us about that final, Modiba.
What a fascinating final where we saw Skukuni United. I was anticipating them to start the match, being cautious, but on the day they took the game to Orlando Pirates. And at the same time, we saw Nkosinathi Sibisi and Sapelo Tloki. They failing to defend from a loose ball, and Sibusiso Vilakazi capitalized on that ball and scored the first goal. And they were so oozing in confidence as the game progressed, and they defended so well, Edwin Jima and Daniel Cardoso. But unfortunately, an ugly scene happened there towards halftime where Thembinkosi Lodge, for me, it looks like he was behaving in an unsporting way, where he took the ball to force Vitalitwalo, who was lying on the in the 18 area for a penalty there. So
do you really have to go there?
Yes, unfortunately, Vitalitwalo fell on the trap and then stretched his hand. So that's why I'm not so sure because it's a tricky one. You can't see well whether he touched the ball or not. But the fact of the matter, when he stretched out the hand, they felt that it's a handball, and Pirates were awarded the penalty in that regard. And Chapelo Tlogi converted from the spot there, sending Sangara the wrong way. And then we saw, as the game progressed, defensively they were solid as Skukuni United, but they didn't create so many chances in the second half. And Orlando Pirates kept pushing Munapuli Saling, Transzuka Manja, alongside the likes of Mughal team. They tried hard, and Thembinkosi Lodge as well involved. So, and as soon as they introduced Ndabasha Ndonjo, that's where in the final minute of the match, he played a long pass to Munapuli Salengu, played a pinpoint cross to find Zukamanja, and what a finish it was, a tricky volley there inside the box, and that's how Pirates won the game. And this they scored that goal in reverse optional time, as the referee added 6 minutes in that game, but within the third minute of the reverse optional time, then he put the ball in the back of the net, and that's how the Pirates won it, and it was their second trophy on the trot in this current season. And they just remembered those seasons where they used to win triples, which means that the glory days are back. So it was a good work for Coach Jose Rivero to win in such a good margin. At the same time, qualifying CAF Champions League. But Brendan Tuta wasn't happy with the referee's decision. But although he's not professional after the match, but I think that's the downfall of the handball was just this main downfall. Otherwise, maybe he could have won the game 1-0 because defensively they were solid and disciplined.
As Modiba Peter, what is your take in as far as that penalty is concerned? Was it daylight robbery? Was it a fair play? What's your take as Modiba Peter? What's your take on that penalty?
From where I seated there, I never saw Vitalitwalo touching the ball. So first it gave me a tricky part, but it was just unfair for the referee to allow a penalty to be taken there. So I think it shouldn't have allowed a penalty. It should have maybe gave a foul against against Pirates, so that they can start the moves as Kukuni. But on the day, unfortunately, that's how it is. And referees are always being let down this current season, so they had to suffer for that particular penalty. But it wasn't a penalty according to my view.
They spoke about the intent. They said maybe even if he didn't touch it, they said his hand moved towards the ball. So they said they're talking to the intent. What's your take on that?
Tricky part, and that's how I was so surprised because I didn't see the hand touching the ball, but it was way, 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 way closer to the ball. So that's where I think it worked against Vitalitwalo. So, but for him, I think he could have just stayed there because Cardoso, for me, has handled the situation so well. So Thembinkosi Lodge was unable to see the room where he can exploit, but because of that handball, that's where it changes everything. So that's why how they got exposed and allowed Pirates to score. Because for me, judging from that game, I wasn't seeing Pirates going to score because Kukuni were just rock solid. Edwin Jima, Daniel Cardoso's post against TNT. So that handball changed everything. So, and that's how they tried to play on transition. It didn't work, and that's they ended up being exposed at the very last end of the match.
Still looking at that penalty, if you consider things like FIFA fair play, good sportsmanship, what's your take on that penalty? From what Temikos Lodge did to create that penalty?
On the day, if it was another referee, I think the other referee would have maybe cautioned Temikos Lodge, or the other referee would have given a foul against Pirates. But for me, it was just unsporting behavior by Temikos Lodge. You don't do that in the field of play. You should have continued attacking instead of concentrating on the player who's lying on the floor. So, but he was just silly, but it worked in his favor. So, yeah, very tricky, but it needed a FIFA fair play to be honest. But on the day, our referees. So when you try to attack a comment, they're just against it. But that's how it is. It's a tricky one, but it was so unfair on what he did. Temikos Lodge.
Okay, that is official. DSTV Premiership is done and dusted. Nedbank Cup also done and dusted. And then on Sunday, it was the turn for the Motsepe Foundation Championship DSTV/DSTV Premiership playoffs. Talk to us about those playoffs, Modiba.
Very interesting, because we saw Cape Town City that is opening the playoffs with a game against Catholic Stars, where we saw there's so many chances were created in that match, although the ball position is both sides. But we saw Ashley Cupido there scored from the header. In fact, speaking of Ashley Cupido, this is a player whom, when the awards were given to the players for Motsepe Foundation, he was awarded a top goal scorer, as is the top goal scorer of that particular league. So it's well done to him, and I think they got confident. Let's see how they'll pan up even this afternoon. And we saw midweek Maritzburg United winning against Catholic Stars. Catholic Stars, it seems as if they're not doing well. This is their second loss on the trot, and we saw, remember, formerly with versus Rowan Human, they're scoring a brace in that match at Harry Kuala. So let's see this afternoon, because they needed that confidence to at least do well when they're going to face Cape Town City this afternoon. It's going to be tough, but let's see how, because both sides are currently seated on 3 points. So mathematically, Catholic Stars do have a chance, but they've dropped to 6 points already. So the battle up to suffice between Cape Town City, as well, I should say Cape Town Spurs, as well as Maritzburg United. But Fadlu Davids is not giving up, like how he stated that he's going to fight until the end.
Oh, absolutely. They will definitely have to fight till the bitter end, because we know what is at stake. We're talking DSTV Premiership status, and then going forward, talk to us about those Motsepe Foundation playoffs. When is the next fixture, and who's playing who?
The next fixture is this afternoon. Is Cape Town Spurs, I should say, up against Maritzburg United at Athlone Stadium. So the game will kick off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So it's going to be interesting. So it's a battle for 3 points. So fans can tune into SABC 1 or SuperSport 2 for that match.
And then PSL Awards. Controversies.
Lots of debate, lots of argument, lots of criticisms there. So we saw a defender of the season. It was awarded to Khuliso Modawe. So remember, Ngosinathi Sibisi and Kevin Simang of TS Galaxy were amongst the nominees there. But Khuliso Modawe, because he also had an excellent season, although I was anticipating Sibisi to grab those ones, because he's won so many accolades of the man of the match this current season. And then we saw the midfielder of the season, Teboho Mokoena, surprisingly so, whereas he was battling it out with Thembazwane and Munapule Saling. So surprisingly, it is first season with Mamelodi Sundowns, replacing Andile Jali to his position. So he did extremely well for himself there. It's well done to him. Then there's player of the season there that has gone to Munapule Saling, as he battled out with the same Teboho Mokoena and also Thembazwane. So, and footballer of the season, we saw Ronan Williams, Thembazwane and Teboho Mokoena amongst the nominees, but Teboho Mokoena once again coming up again, although I was anticipating Munapoli Saleng to grab this one after such a fantastic season he had with Orlando Pirates. And then we saw a goal of the season there, Yusuf Mart, as there were 5 nominees in this one. The likes of Lanchani Palan were there, Eshludi Priya were there, but Yusuf Mart from that Soweto Dami, long range from the center of the pitch to beat Sebonga Punchani and him, the accolade there. Well done to him once again. Then the coach of the season, a tricky one, because in this one, remember we saw Jose Riviero winning 2 trophies and also finishing second on the log, and Rulano Mokoena on the other side. He won the league, I should say, with 7 matches to go. So that's a remarkable record as well. But well, there was a bit of debate. But when before the hours can take place in the afternoon, Ngobo came out explaining the situation on how our accolade will be awarded, and that's why he said it's only based on the DSTV Premiership, and that favored Rulano Mokoena. So officially, Rulano Mokoena is our current coach of the season. So it's well done to him. And then the young player of the season, we saw Oluwatu Makanya of Stellenbosch, Tapelo Maseko of SuperSport United, as well as Cassius Malula of Mamelodi Sundowns. So Cassius Malula in that regard won the young player of the season. He had a good season as well. 11 goals as well this current season. Then this last man standing from the MTN 8, Munapoli Saleng, also won that one. As you know, he scored a brace against Sundowns and also scored in the final against Amazulu. So yeah, very interesting. And then if I can also reflect back to the Nedbank Cup, Ikram Reynas was chosen as the DSTV Awards player of the I should say the Nedbank Cup player of the tournament. So you remember he scored 3 braces against Swallows, against TS Galaxy, and also against Sundowns. So he had a scintillating tournament there. So yeah, it was just interesting from how I saw.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, those awards, surely it was a guarantee that they were not going to go without any talking points, without any controversies, especially in as far as the play of the season is concerned. Tebogo Mokoena versus Munapoli Saleng, and in the coaching department, Rulano Mokoena versus Jose Rivero, that is the Orlando Pirates mentor. But because of time constraint, let's move right along. We are in the mid season. Who is moving where? Who's signing where? Any rumors of any players making movements in this mid-season, Modibo?
Currently, there's been rumors whereby Mduzim Tanzani will definitely go to Kaizer Chiefs. Let's wait and see. And then Amazulu were supposed to unveil the players and the technical team, but the owner, the Sandile Zungu, decided to postpone the meeting to Monday, 10 a.m. So as he stated that he was traveling but he couldn't make it to the meeting, so then they decided to call it off. So yeah, very interesting. And there's also rumors that this other player who comes from TS Galaxy is currently at Golden Arrows, will definitely go to Pirates, but let's see if it will take place. So yeah, it looks interesting up to so far. Not so many news, but hopefully next week when they come back, there'll be enough. That's the local of Golden Arrows. Yeah, it's rumored to go join and Orlando Pirates. So let's wait and see if the move will definitely go on. So, but up to so far, we didn't receive so many signings. But hopefully next week when they come in, we'll unveil what's the latest at Amazulu and other teams. As you know, there'll be so many movements of players as it is June, preparing for next month as well, because next month is the last month, whereby come August, the new season will be beginning.
Mutibaire? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I was just saying, come next month, August, the new season will be beginning, but hopefully next week there'll be so many news all over.
Moving elsewhere, there is in England this afternoon. Manchester is divided. Why? Simply because because of the FA Cup final for the first time ever, in as far as the FA Cup final is concerned, we'll get to witness the Manchester derby. Talk to us about where that game, where Manchester United will take on Manchester City this afternoon, Modibo.
It's going to be interesting because Man City, they are aiming for triple. So let's see, because in the league they've dominated Man United. They've beaten Man United heavily this current season. So and Man United again will be looking forward to redeem themselves after finishing third in the EPL. So they'll want to do well. But the good thing is that they've qualified for UEFA. So I think it's going to be easy. You are playing against a team which is high in confidence. Although they lost their last match of the season, the Man City there 1-0, if I can remember so well. So against Brentford there. So they'll want to redeem themselves. Maybe their minds was focused on this wonderful the FA Cup. So for me, I'll give it to Man City because they're just high in confidence, and judging from how I heard Pep Guardiola is aiming for a triple. So will that be triple be able to come on? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think I'll give it to Man City. Man United, they are all over. So inconsistent. But although it's a different ball game, but I'll give it to Man City.
Since you say you are giving it to Man City, maybe it is fitting that I play you this song. There was a Manchester City song, Modiba, since you said you are giving it to Manchester City this afternoon. So, in other words, you say that treble dream, in as far as Manchester City is concerned, that treble dream is alive. So, are you trying to say that come this afternoon, Manchester United's record that they set all the way back in 1999 when Sir Alex Ferguson was still the manager of Manchester United, that record might be dented, because to remember that in England as a whole, only Manchester United ever won that treble of the championship of the league, English Premier League, FA Cup, and the Champions League. We remember that Manchester City, they're still on course to play the Champions League final against Inter Milan. So that's what you are saying, that Manchester City are on the verge of denting Manchester United's record.
Most definitely, so they'll want to join them and break that record, but or should I say level that record. But I think they're just high in confidence, and we wouldn't be surprised even if they come all the way in the final of the UEFA to surprise the Inter Milan. But let's wait and see. But this afternoon they'll definitely win it. So they've been having a good season by standards.
Modiba Peter has called it Manchester City's treble dream lives on. Because of time constraint, let's quickly move to motorsport. What is happening in that front, Modiba?
The motorsport, we saw Max Verstappen winning from that slippery pitch tournament there, doing ever so well, and against the likes of Fernando Alonso, arriving on the 0.084 seconds, with Fernando Alonso arriving on the 27.9 seconds there. So, but I was so disappointed with Sergio Perez. He's always a driver whom, when there are three drivers, he's always among the top three. So, but this time around, he had a crisis there, whereby he had to, this car has to face a pit. So, unfortunately, he finished 16th. So he couldn't progress with the tournament. So, but with Max Verstappen, I think he's repeating himself from that 78 lap race, whereby I did take some corresponding Monaco there. He also, I think the only driver that won the previous Monaco was Sergio Perez. That's why I'm saying I was so disappointed with his performance. But Max Verstappen this time around, at least he managed to grab the second victory of this particular Monaco. As you know, they could have played at Imola, but unfortunately due to crises that were taking place that side, with 9 citizens dead and the floods and the rain messing up everything, 5,000 people no longer having their houses because of that terrible weather. So they couldn't progress, but they also again in Azerbaijan he did well for himself, Sergio Perez, and then you look at Max Verstappen as well. So he was just oozing with confidence. So let's see going forward, but he's done well in this wonderful motor racing. And then we saw also Lewis Hamilton as well as George Russell finishing 4th and 5th respectively. So they tried their best and they capitalized from that bad weather. Although Max Verstappen couldn't progress further because of his tires were not in a good condition to can up his pace, and with the slippery streets as well, that disrupted him from continuing. But as you know, in motor racing, when you are a winner, you are awarded 25 points, and the runners-up is 18 points, and then the third is 15 points. The third runners-up is 15 points. So Max Verstappen, in that regard, he was awarded 25 points, and he did exceptionally well, and well done to him.
Oh, absolutely. Let's hope with the Spanish Grand Prix having got underway last night in Spain, Barcelona to be exactly. Let's hope Sparks will fly there again with Max Verstappen and hoping that the homeboy, the local lad, that is Fernando Alonso, will definitely spoil Max Verstappen's latest dominance. Time is definitely not on our side, but technology did fail us at the beginning of the show. But before I let you go, may I please ask you, okay, I'll give you some homework, and that is local homework, because time is definitely not on our side. About the players that are doing the movements. I hope you've got a pen and paper there. Next week, I want to know what's happening in as far as Andy Lejali is concerned. I want to know next week what's happening in as far as Jabulo Ngobo of Kaizer Chiefs is concerned. Lastly, I would like to know what's happening with Dumisani Zuma, the former Kaizer Chiefs player, who is with in Amazulu FC's books, and we record that he signed a 4-year deal with Amazulu. Those three players, I would like them to be on the list. That is your homework, Mudiba.
Most definitely, I'll bring the news as it is. As you know, they're also having a meeting this Monday, Usutu. So, Mjabulo Ngobo is also rumored. I'll spread everything when I come back. But rumors are that he might return back to Swallows. Let's wait and see. So, yeah, it's very interesting. And again, let's congratulate the Munster after the defeat to Stoma. We spoke about it last week. But due to time constraints, we're still going to talk more going forward. And, yeah, very interesting. And it's well done to Munster for winning that match 1914. So, Stomas, again, they dropped the ball when they were leading 14-12.
They spoiled the pattern.
And then with the netball, it's 55 days to go. So, yeah, it's the really excitement. The touring is taking place currently.
Oh, yes.
Yes, let's see. We'll talk further. Hopefully next week we'll have enough time to wrap up everything. So with that, it's a very afternoon to you, Spanelo, and also the team behind the scenes. Let's talk more next week.
Thank you very much. There was our sports analyst, Motiva Peter, giving us a heads up of some of the things that we will be talking coming next weekend. Surely, Telkom Netball World Cup, that's going to be taking place next week. Next month, rather, will definitely be dominating next week's discussion when we have our discussion with our sports analyst, Modiba Peter. We'll also look at the Formula One. As I said, as we did mention at the beginning of the show, that the Spanish Grand Prix is definitely taking place this weekend. Unfortunately, it is that time of the show where I have to laugh and leave you. But as always, I leave you in the warm and capable hands of my colleague Krishna Kushal as she brings you Hamdum. That's between 1 and 3 o'clock. You and I, let's do this once again next week, Saturday, between 11 and 1 p.m. I am Spanelo Ngobo, and on that note, it is bye-bye. Oh, again, the technology seems to be failing us. I wonder what's happening. Let's give it a try one more time and see if we will get it right this time around.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
And then for the right of a reply, Manchester City, take us away.